Hey everybody, welcome back to Gab's Dojo. Yeah, it's been a while, things have been happening, but back again after a bit of a break. Now, the last lesson we had was an in-depth guide to training mode, where I basically just went through all the options that allows you to use training mode at its most fullest potential to help you get better. And that lesson ended the block of lessons that made up level 2. For those who were joining that wasn't there from the beginning, when I first started doing this, I broke down lessons into levels 1, 2 and 3. Level 1 was like systems and concepts, so getting used to like things like the poke system, the throw system, how that works. Level 2 is more technical stuff and why things work and how things work with frames and hitboxes, stuff like that. So we're now moving on to level 3, which is about application, theory and mindset in order to get you to where you want to be. One thing, Gab, the higher the recovery, the worse the move is, right? Or just need a reminder? Yeah, if there's high recovery on a move that whiffs, then it does mean it's easier to punish. So, with level 2 down, we're now moving on to level 3, which is the very first lesson, which is how to lab a problem. Hey Sarang Bay, how's it going? I must say that before we get to this stage, if you have any difficulty, you don't have a basic understanding of any of the previous lessons I've done, it's worthwhile going back to them and rewatching or relearning them, because from this point on you kind of need to have an understanding of everything I've mentioned before or everything I've taught before to get to this point. Part of the reason why I've taught lessons the way they have been, or in that particular order. So let's get to it. How to lab a problem. I quit and K11 buttons still here, Sensei. Good to hear you. Good to hear and see your support, Sarangbae. Much appreciated. But I take it it's still not getting on with the game. Right. Now, reason why it's called the lab or labbing, because essentially what you're doing is either finding out a problem and solving it, or having a theory and trying to test whether it's true or not. And that kind of thing requires experimentation, and then the results of those experiments basically tells you what you can go forward with. So labbing is kind of the same thing in fighting games. You just get can't speak. Get a scenario, and then you basically experiment with it and then find out what you can get. So just placing Delbert carry by her forward 4. Yeah, you could do that. So the problem I'm going to look into, first let me select my main. I'm going to look into everyone's favourite Jackie variation. Upgraded. Someone please pick a stage. Anyone pick a stage, any stage. Fire Garden. Good choice. So, with this, I'm basically going to be showcasing how I go about labbing a problem. There's going to be some which are general tips that you should follow, and some which are specific things I do that you don't have to do yourself, but maybe if you choose to, you know, maybe it will help. So, we're in training mode. We're effectively going to try and lab. The first thing I should say before you start labbing is... Actually no, I'll get to it later, it's not that important. First thing we're going to do is, in terms of labbing, or how to lab a problem, is we present the problem in front of us. We put the problem in front of us. So the issue I'm looking at regards to upgraded is going to be when they do their usual string into a leap, which they cancel into a shrapnel blast, and then their continuous pressure. So since that's causing me issues, that is what I'm going to lab and see what we can solve. Welcome back, Blue. Where's my £50? Hey, Yonsei. Sorry about the Jackie love here, but it needs to be done. So, in order to present the problem in front of us, I'm going to take over upgraded. So I'm now moving, and I set my opponent to blocking everything, because that's essentially what I'm going to be dealing with. Now, because I play Jackie, I already know what I'm looking for in terms of the moves, but if you didn't know the moves of the character you're looking at, like say you've never, I don't know, never faced a Johnny Cage before, or never played a Johnny Cage, and you wasn't sure what strings they were using to cause you issues, this is where the move list comes into handy, and then you tag the moves that you go through, and then that will allow you to see what moves are actually causing you problems and then go forward from there. So for the sake of this example, I'm just going to tag the Jackie ones here. So, taking over upgraded, I'm now going to present a problem in front of me. So what I'm going to do is a string into leap, into shrapnel blast, into like an overhead attack, and then see what we can gain. So first I want to set Jackie to duck so I get this correctly, and I hope my execution don't let me down. Okay, let me make sure I've done this right. Which I didn't. There we go. Now, in a couple of reps that I've done, is there anything, I'm asking you to chat, was there anything that we have learned just from me doing that a couple of times? Wow, Yonsei with the with the sass there, jeez. Yeah, I can see that, Barrow. And hey, Last Day, how's it going? So, anyway, the first thing that I've noticed in doing the first rep was that shrapnel shot is a mid. Now, I learned nothing, but it's not your fault, I'm slow. The reason why that might be important is because, I don't know about you guys when you face upgraded, but when I do, I have a habit of stand blocking every single time. Even though the shot, she's basically shooting at the top of your head. It's not an overhead, it's a mid. So therefore, I can actually crouch block the entire string, which might give me more time to punish certain things. So just from doing a couple of reps of the problem, we have identified a potential weakness. Secondly, I will look in to see if there is a gap in there. One of the most important things in labbing, as a tip before I go any further, is you have to ask yourself questions, basically. That's the most important thing. Keep asking yourself questions. And when you keep asking questions and then trying things out, that's when you get to learn more about a certain character, a certain scenario, a certain situation. So, I'm going to set Jackie to flawless block. Now, the flawless block the first hit, obviously, but if there's any gaps afterwards, it will flawless block again. So we'll see if there's a gap in this pressure. So, there's two gaps there. One from the leap into the shot, and then from the shot into the overhead punch, jumping punch. So knowing that we can flawless block there, that's another potential weakness we might be able to exploit. And then finally I'll ask myself, if for example they mess up their execution, like they didn't amplify the shots, or if they mess it up and just do a leap, you know, are they safe? Are they still punishable? Let's find out. So if they don't amplify it, they're about -16. Let me take off flawless block just to make sure that's correct. There we go. Yeah, -16. So that means if they mess up their execution, then we can basically punish with almost any normal we want, depending on the character. Or if they manage to just do the leap, then they've got 49 frames of recovery, which means it's a free punish as well. I'll either go online and scream. Okay. Hey Molly, how's it going? I'm here to be convinced that labbing can be fun. I didn't say it'd be fun, I just said it doesn't have to be boring. Right. So, how long have I been doing this? In about 5 minutes I've been doing this. I'm pretty much this leaping crazy character. We have found out that shotguns are mid, so we don't need to stand block it every time. There is a gap in this pressure, and if they mess up the execution, it's free punish for us. Why upgraded, by the way? Because I recently just had an issue with dealing with it. Obviously this character just leaps around like a crazy person, and I know other people have had issues with dealing with this character, not knowing what to do. So I figured, why not look into it and just see what we can find. So now that I've presented the problem to myself, the next stage would be finding a solution. Now in terms of solutions, you can go a few ways. You can keep control of like upgraded here, and then set your character to like do a reversal attack if you wanted to test reversals. What I generally do is record the opponents doing the problem to me, and then I find a solution for myself. Now I can also recommend that if you're not comfortable with the execution of another character, or you just feel like you want another person, by all means feel free to lab with another person, whether offline or online. Because some people do need another person to bounce ideas off, to talk about things, because there's definitely players I know, very good players, even some pro players that I do know, that can't actually sit in practice mode and lab by themselves. They need another person to interact with in order to do it. So that option is there for you as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take over next gen, and I'm going to record upgraded doing string into leap, shrapnel blast, into a jumping punch and then block. And then with that problem presented, I'm going to see what kind of solutions I can find. So let's hope I get this right without my execution failing me. So I want normal, and I want her ducking, so I get this right. Okay. I'm just gonna have that play back to make sure that's correct. Blocks it standing fine. Blocks it blocking fine. Cool. Right. So the very first thing I am going to look into is, from when looking at it earlier, we found that there was a gap. We can flawless block either the leap into the shot or the shot into the jumping punch. So I'm going to test, first thing is whether I can flawless block up to the shotgun. And hey Antonio, good to see you. Looks like, come on. Okay. Fun times. After all those failed attempts. Flawless block up 2 doesn't work on the shot because it whiffs. So as a potential solution for doing that, we can just cross that off. And also you may have noticed that the times that I missed it, I got hit. So it's obviously very, very risky to even consider doing it at that point, because if you get hit by the shot, by missing the flawless block, Jackie gets a full combo and then it's, you know, GG's, I guess. So I'm now going to ask myself the question, well, can I flawless block up to the jumping punch instead? Blocks it. So flawless block up 2 doesn't work for Jackie, essentially, in this match. It might work for other characters, you know, maybe characters like Garrus, who's got a faster and a longer range up to, you know, or Scorpions it's okay as well. Maybe that would work for them, but for me in this particular matchup, no. So flawless block cancelled. That's the solution. I learned how to flawless katana and J-strings today. Ah, nice, Antonio, good stuff. So my next question I would ask myself is, well, there's a gap, can I fail to blow through it? Seems simple enough. Now if I delayed it a little bit, she can stuff it. So I have to be pretty quick when I do fatal, preferably reversal timing, but there's a little bit of a gap I can wait. So from doing this, we can now see there's one potential solution. If Jackie does this string into shrapnel, we can flawless block. Molly B, speaking of Scorpion, Avek beat Tweedy to win Vendetta tournament. Now I'm going to overreact, start telling everyone Scorpion is top tier because I hate Scorpion. Wow. Poor guy. So even though fair to blow is a solution, we obviously only get it once around. Jackie's going to be doing this kind of thing more often than that, so we need to find something else. But we now do know that we can use fair to blow to deal with that. Next one would be, well, Jackie's in the air and there's a gap. can we just anti-air after we block the shrapnel blast? I'm just going to try standard down 2. Easy enough. And you might be able to get a combo out of this. Maybe. Maybe with a bit more practice I might be able to. But anyway, so we can do down 2. Let me try 4-2-2 Shuriken. So that works. So I know we can do 4-2-2. What if I try Jackie's forward 2? Because that's an anti-air. Might be a bit too slow. And that works. So if I wanted to do forward 2, I can also get a crushing blow KB out of it. Well, crushing blow KB of course. A dash punch KB out of it, which is nice. But then we've also got our standard anti-airs that most people do. Standing 1 and down 1. Simple enough. And if we try down 1. So I get a solution to upgrade this next gen. Technically no, I've just done simple things that everyone else can do. I mean, everyone can anti-air, well, almost everyone can anti-air down 2 or standing 1 or down 1. So I've shown that we can anti-air that gap as well. Can next gen Jackie knock her out of the air with her projectile? I know Jay can do it with upper res around, but not a lot of characters are upper projectiles. Fair question. See, this is what I'm talking about, Labin. You ask yourself questions. Let's find out. There you go. I can even do reversal upward plasma blast. So there's another solution. And the last thing I want to check that I would ask myself is, okay, I can anti-air, I can fair to blow, but can I, let's say I wasn't comfortable, can I just escape? Can I like dash, for example, to get out of the pressure? So let me try it. So forward dash works. Can I backdash? Seems you can backdash pretty comfortably if you do reversal timing. Now, because they're coming down with a jumping punch, that also means they're going to be in recovery as a land. So if we time it right, you might be able, well, with Jackie anyway, other characters maybe not, but with Jackie you might be able to do a counter attack or land a counter hit. So I'm going to try a forward dash first and then back dash. Let's go. So that worked, forward dash. And if I try back dashing, okay, standing 1 doesn't reach. Forward 3 might though. Forward 1 they block. But forward 3 does work. But you've got to be strict with the timing, otherwise they'll block. So in about, I don't know how long I've been doing this. In about 10 minutes, and it's only been 10 minutes because I've been explaining things as I've been speaking. I've taken a problem that I don't know how to deal with, and I have found out that we can fatal blow through it, we can anti-air it, and we can even dash through and punish. That's not a lot of time, but we found quite a few decent solutions. So once you find your solutions, your next stage in labbing is basically there's two roads you can go down. Both of them end up at the same meeting point, so you will get there regardless, but there's two roads you can go down. Let me just have a quick sip of water. Hang on for a sec. So road 1, which is what I expect most people would normally do, because road 1 is what normally most people would do. Road 2 is basically where the stigma of labbing comes from. So road 1 is basically you practice your solution and then you move on to like games or whatever. So if I decide that standing 1 is going to be my solution to dealing with this issue, I'll just keep practicing standing 1s into my combos. And then I'll keep doing it over and over again, preferably until about 10 times on either side. Now, the main reason why I say this is because when you find a solution to a problem in your lab, you might know it in your mind, but technically you don't really know it in your eyes and your hands. And what I mean by that is, once you find a solution, you need to get it into your muscle memory of how to react in a certain situation, but then your eyes also need to recognize and anticipate the situation for happening in order for you to react to it. So if you only did like a couple of reps like just now and then you went to a match, you'll play a match, and what will happen is an upgrader will do that, like a string into leap, and you block the shot, and then your mind will go, I blocked the shot, I remember I can anti-air in that gap, so therefore let me do that. And by the time you realize that, upgrader's already landed and continued their pressure and you've missed the moment. So in order for you to be comfortable in doing that situation, you kind of need to practice that solution again and again. And also mainly because if you're finding it hard to react to things generally, you'll find it even harder to react to something that you don't recognize. So you practicing it will also allow your eyes to recognize the problem keeping coming at you and then how to deal with it. And then once you're comfortable, you go on to matches. I barely got memory in my brain, so muscle memory beyond me. Muscle memory is just practicing the same movements over and over again. That's all it is. So that's road 1. Road 2 is basically asking yourself more questions. This is where the stigma comes when people say, you know, head to the lab or having a labbing session which lasts ages, you know, hours in training mode and whatnot. If you keep asking questions, you can delve down a rabbit hole very, very deeply. So with that, that's where it kind of gets negative connotations of why people believe labbing is, you know, it's this whole massive thing that you need to do in order to get better. It doesn't really. It doesn't have to be. It can literally be a 10-minute job. As long as you gain something from it, that's the most important thing. Um, what are people saying? Experience is the best teacher. Yes. Give me that 40% anti with Sonya, please. I don't know one off the top of my head. I'm gonna guess it's down back 2. Isn't that the anti-air? KB into a combo. How long do pro players spend their time in a dojo? It depends who you talk to. There are some that won't spend much time at all and just have natural instinct. There are some that spend hours upon end. There are some that only do it on a need-to-must basis. Like, they have a match, have some issues against a certain character, like say like Terminator for example. They'll look at Terminator for 20 minutes, find out some things, note it down, move on to the next time. Try and do Sindel's loud and clear combos and females. I'd rather not, to be honest. Right, row 2, asking more questions. So, I'm gonna go back and take over upgraded. I think it definitely depends on the players. At the beginning of the game's life, you spend a lot of time in the lab, and most of the players just plays against other people and learns from that. Yep, exactly. It all depends how a person feels. So, but I do feel like this is a good tool to have. Definitely a good tool to have in your belt, and then just try it from every now and again, if not consistent. Right, anyway, sidetracking. Row 2, I'm asking more questions because not only does Jackie do this nonsense, on occasions they do that. Cancel into ground pound. So with that, I'm going to put the problem in front of me and see what happens when I do string into ground pound. If I know how to do it properly. So hit slow, we can see, and if we amplify it, double low. So I'm now just going to put flawless block to see if there's a gap in there. Yep, there's a gap there. And is there a gap in the amplify version? Probably. Yes. So we know there's gaps there. And then finally, I will look into frames. Like, if we do block it, how negative are we talking? Let me get rid of flawless. So the regular ground pound is minus 17. And amplified is minus 14. So basically, if we block it, we can see that we are going to punish with whatever string, whatever normal that we can get. I think at the range that we're standing, I think it'd be an easy punish on most characters. And Mr. Days when the ball roll is all you needed. Technically that's not true, but fair enough. So I now know the frame, gaps and hit region of ground pound. So I want to ask you, chat, if a Jackie was going to do a string, would we have to guess based on what we knew beforehand of shrapnel blast, as in the shot, would we have to guess between Jackie doing ground pound and Jackie doing the shrapnel blast into jumping punch? Let me know what you think. Silence in the classroom. Pensive thinking. Give me a minute, Gab, me slow. No worries, take your time. Can I repeat again? So basically I'm asking, based on what we know on the moves that we've gone through, would we have to guess between doing this or that? Basically. So Jackie does a string and going into leap, would we have to guess between ground pound and from shrapnel shot? That's basically it. Asking for your opinions. So what we're seeing, what's the best way to guess? Well, I'm just asking, which way would you have to guess? Can we anti-air both? Technically, you probably could not, I don't know. You can see your ground blast coming. I'd say no, mid-screen, highly doubt they go for a load. Sharpness the best mid-screen. Don't need to allow just spam balls. Answer is blue has basically nailed it. You just block low since shrapnel is a mid and the other is a low. So since there is no overhead to worry about, you can crouch block the entire time and you wouldn't need to guess. You can react accordingly to what situation happens, what situation presents itself. So with that, we can test a few things. Why do I get hit by her when I block low then? Well, you're either letting go of block before the shrapnel shot, or you're holding block and still crouching when you get hit by the jumping punch, which is an overhead. So you need to stand block the jumping punch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to record upgraded doing string into leap and shrapnel shot, and then another record of string into leap into ground pound. And hopefully my execution doesn't let me down. So let me go back to control and next gen, all normal dark. Record. Right, cool. Got that wrong. Got that wrong. Please, execution, don't let me down. Missed. There we go. So that's the first one. And then I want to record the low. That's a bit too early. A bit too early. I suppose that will do. So just crouch low. Yes, sorry, just crouch block low. So I'm now going to set Jackie to playback, random hidden playback, so I don't know what recording is going to showcase, and basically I'm going to see whether I can block shrapnel blast and the ground pound at the same, well, comfortably. So that's a low. That's the overhead. That's a low. Sharpness shot. See? Quite simple enough because you don't have to worry about um, the shots into the overhead. There's enough time for you to stand block. Now, since earlier on, I showcased one of our solutions to dealing with the shrapnel shot into the jump in is a jab, like an anti-air. You can now look and ask the question is, if we can comfortably block both sides of the mix-up, can we comfortably punish each side? So we crouch block it and see if the shrapnel shot comes, can we anti-air with like a down one or standing one? And then if the ground pound comes, can we just punish with like a full combo? So let's give it a go. So we now find that this kind of mix up that jackies do try and do, not a lot of them do, but some people do, we can actually punish either option. Now when we do this, you will have to practice, as I said, once you got the solutions, you will have to practice it to get used to it, and have it in your muscle memory. Show off? What do you mean show off? I'm teaching here. But yes, in the space of about what, 20-25 minutes or so, we've got to the point of not knowing how to deal with a problem to now finding out not only how to deal with that problem, but to essentially turn the tide against them and get punishes from it. I can't hate because I'm the best student today. Gab is a show off, but we love him anyway. Am I really a show off? I never thought of myself as a show off. Damn. That doesn't fit my modest nature. But essentially, that is generally how to lab a problem. So as a quick recap, you take over the character that you have issues with in practice mode, do a few repetitions of what issues you're finding against them, if it's a certain string into a like certain special or certain kind of pressure fins. Do a few reps of that, learn if there's anything about that that you can exploit, like the hit regions, if it's mid-low, whether it's super negative like frames, or whether there's gaps. And then yeah, just try things out until you get a solution. Now, even though I spent about 20-25 minutes going through all this, if I did this just by myself without having to explain my thoughts and things like this, I probably could have got all of this in about 7-8 minutes, to be honest, which is not a lot of time. And when you think of it this way, as some people, yeah, don't like labbing or prefer to just go online and just rage. How long does a combat league set last? Like, if it goes like to 3 games, it can last about 7-8 minutes if it's long games. I think trading, having a match and then losing, not knowing why you lost, or an issue that you don't know how to deal with, trading, being salty for a while, and then going to the next combat league set, so that 10 minutes you spend there, for 10 minutes into practice mode where you can gain essentially knowledge that could be helpful for the life of the game of how to deal with this character in that same 10 minutes, to me seems like a fair trade-off. I mean, to me, I think it's a pretty good trade-off. But to be fair, a lot of people don't do it out of choice, but also some people don't know how to. So this is part of the reason why this lesson exists. And let me quickly catch up with the chat because people are saying stuff and I see my name being mentioned. If you have to say you're a modest nature, you probably don't get. Don't kill me. Thanks, Angway. I can listen to Gab for hours. Wow. Do I have that much of a soothing voice? Could I please play 2 casual matches and bless us with your technique? Probably not. Wow, I feel insulted. Was that shade towards us? It wasn't actually shade towards her, because there's quite a few people I know that do exactly the same thing. So, it's not directly at her. Kept throwing the classy British shade. Quite a few people. Yeah, there is. I'm just not going to name names. There's quite a few people I do know, though. Which I hope they're here, but that's another question, I guess. Right. So my advice going forward: so if you want to throw shade at other people in here. Anyways, if you want to move forward with Lavin, I suggest doing this when you have matches, and if you come across a problem, literally jump into trainer mode, put the problem in front of you, find a solution, and then take it from there. It doesn't have to be, as I said, a long session. It can literally just be one problem, like with Jackie, this issue that I've demonstrated. You can just do that 10-15 minutes and then go back into matches, and then when you come against Jackie, see what happens. Other important thing about labbing that I forgot to mention: once you do get your solutions and you do practice them, it's very important to test them in a match environment. So when you're in either a set or whether you're in combat league or whatever, when a scenario comes, try out these solutions, because part of the reason why it's called labbing is we are controlling all of the steps that's happening in training mode. We are controlling the scenario and the situation. Some things you might find in here you might not be able to do in a match, and if that's the case, that's when you'll probably need to revisit and find another solution. So hopefully that will explain well how I go about labbing a problem, and hopefully you can find some advice from there and then take it from there. And I saw a question. Where's the question? Better not be me, Blue. No comment. But Gab, what if we lab something but we can't even use because of the lag? Like if the lag is really bad, I can't even punish Scorpion Teleport. Eventually you have to keep trying, because not every player you play is going to be laggy. Not every version of like Scorpion is going to be laggy. So you still have to keep trying it out until you can find out whether it actually works or not. Try to lab how to block subs at 50-50. Can we turn lag on in practice? I don't think we can. There used to be, I know there's other games that used to have settings for input delay, so if there is lag, it actually does add it in. Ah, yes, Blue says that you can use online latency in practice mode online, so that would help. Gab, please, I'll stop playing Sonya if you play one casual match. Keep on playing Sonya. Why would you stop playing Sonya? Welcome to Gab's Dojo Blue, where we all get constructive and interesting shade thrown at us. Damn. I assume the last dojo lesson will be about unplugging internet cable of opponents using Wi-Fi or 200 ms connection. Do you know what? I actually still play through those. I just forced myself to. Anyway, that's it regarding labbing. Hope it helps. Feel free to ask any questions personally if there's some things that you're struggling with, or even if you want to just have a lab session because you want someone to bounce ideas with. I'll try and make some time for you to have like a one-on-one lab session if there's something that you're having issues with. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for the lesson. Didn't expect it to be that long anyway. Tried to make some time, not happening, damn. Okay, I'll see you, Sangwei, I'll see you. But by all means, I can't remember what I'm gonna say. That Sangwei comment threw me off. That's gonna do it for the lesson. I'm gonna wrap up. Thanks for tuning in, and for those watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, follow, all that business. Haven't decided what I'm going to do for the next lesson as of yet. It might be game planning. It might be, but I'll determine. I'll let you know when it will be, and it definitely will not be a gap as from last lesson to this lesson. It could be a lot sooner than that. But for those watching on YouTube, thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you next time. Take care and peace.